easy to think about, right? You look at a text that's, 3,000 years old, and you think, what could that possibly have to say to me today? Well, in this explainer, we're going to crack open the book of Deuteronomy, and I think you'll be blown away by how its ancient words on law, love, and legacy are, more relevant than ever.
Okay, so let's dive right in. The whole foundation for everything we're about to talk about, it all starts with this powerful promise, a covenant, made thousands of years ago. And you gotta understand, this wasn't some dry, dusty old contract, no way. This was a living agreement, meant to echo through time, from that generation all the way to you.
All right, so try to picture this scene. You've got this huge crowd of people gathered at the foot of Mount Horeb. And Moses gets up in front of them, but he's not there to give a history lesson. He's there to deliver a message for the here and now. And he says something incredible. He says God is making a covenant, this sacred promise, not with their ancestors who are long gone, but with them, the people standing right there, in that moment.
Okay, and this part? This is absolutely crucial. Before a single law, a single rule is even mentioned, God defines the relationship. He says, I'm the one who brought you out of slavery. Think about that. This isn't some distant, abstract God. This is the God who just performed this massive act of rescue. And that simple fact, it changes everything. The laws that follow aren't coming from a tyrant, they're coming from a personal savior.
All right, so the relationship is set. The covenant is made. Now Moses lays out the blueprint for how this new community is going to live. And yeah, we all know them as the 10 Commandments, right? But what's so cool is that the original text calls them the 10 words. Just think about that for a second. These aren't just a list of rules. They're meant to be the foundational, life-giving words for a people who are learning what it even means to be free.
So check out how this is structured. It's actually genius. You see the pattern, right? The first 4 commandments, they're all about the vertical relationship. You know, your relationship with God. But then it pivots. The last 6 are all horizontal. How you treat the people around you. It's this beautiful, holistic vision for life. You can't have a healthy community if one of those is out of whack. You need both.
And here's something the source material points out that I find fascinating. The command to honor your parents. It's like the text has this deep understanding of human nature. I mean, think about it. Loving your kids, for most people, that's just instinct, right? But honoring your parents, especially as you get older and they get older, that takes real, intentional effort. It's a conscious choice. And the text is basically saying, hey, that choice, that's a cornerstone of a healthy society that's built to last.
So, just to really drive this home, these are not just some random rules that got pulled out of a hat. Not at all. They're part of this covenant, a loving guide given to a people God calls his beloved children. The whole point is to give them a framework to fight back against our worst impulses, what the text calls sinful human nature, and to build a society where people can actually live well together in freedom.
Okay, so we've got these 10 words, this blueprint, but what's the power source? What's the engine that makes the whole thing run? We've got to go a layer deeper to find the absolute core principle, the beating heart of it all.
And it's this. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one. This phrase, it's known as the Shema, and it is the absolute bedrock of their entire faith. And you have to understand, in a world that was swimming with gods and goddesses and idols for everything, this was a radically different statement. The idea of one God and only one God, honestly, it was a complete game changer. Everything else we're going to talk about is built right on top of this one powerful truth. And just so there's zero confusion about what one God means, the text spells it out. It's not polytheism, right? The belief in a whole bunch of gods. It's not pantheism, the idea that God and nature are the same thing. And it's not even monolatry, which is, believing in many gods but just choosing to worship one. Nope. This is a declaration of something totally different. One unique, absolute God. Full stop.
Okay, so if you truly believe God is one, what's the only logical response? Well, the text says it's this, a complete and total devotion. This isn't just about showing up for rituals. It's about loving God with everything you've got, your heart, your soul, your strength, your entire being. It's an all-in kind of commitment. All right, so you have these massive, profound ideas, these powerful words, but how do you stop them from just being, words on a page? How do you make them a living, breathing reality in the day-to-day grind? The text, believe it or not, has a super practical game plan.
And here it is, a kind of 4-step process for making this covenant real. It's brilliant, actually. Step 1, it has to get inside you, engraved on your heart. It has to be personal. Step 2, you have to pass it on. Diligently teach it to your kids.
Step 3, you weave it into the fabric of your life. You talk about it all the time, at home, when you're out, morning and night. And step 4, you make it visible. You put it on your homes as a constant physical reminder. It's this amazing model for turning belief into actual practice. And you see, all of this, it's all building towards something much, much bigger. It's not just about what's happening right now. It's about the future. It's about creating a legacy of faith that can actually last. And a huge piece of that puzzle is being ready for the questions that you know are coming from the next generation.
And I mean, come on, isn't this a moment every parent or teacher or mentor totally gets? The text is so incredibly wise here. It knows that one day a kid is going to look at all the traditions and all the rules and ask that super simple but super deep question. So why? Why do we do all this? And instead of leaving parents to kind of stammer and figure it out, it gives them this beautiful roadmap for explaining the why behind it all.
And check this out. The answer they're told to give isn't some boring lecture. It's not a list of rules. It's a story. A powerful story about rescue, about a promise kept, and about blessing. The laws aren't framed as this heavy burden you have to carry. They're framed as a gift, a way to live that leads to a good life. It's just a genius way to connect a kid's own life to this huge epic story of their people.
And the scale of this promise, it's just mind-blowing. 1,000 generations. I mean, just let that sink in. We're not talking about your kids or grandkids. We are talking about a legacy, a blessing that echoes through centuries. The message is so clear. This is about something way bigger than just you. It's about playing your part in a story that's going to outlive you by millennia.
So, where does all this leave us? This ancient blueprint, with its focus on covenant, law, and love, it really leaves us with a question that honestly feels more urgent today than ever before. In our world, a world of non-stop information and fleeting distractions, how do we engrave what truly matters on the hearts of the next generation? How do we build a legacy that actually lasts?